Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Legacy of the Void on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries campaign. And in this episode, we'll be continuing on with Steps to the Right. Last episode, we started off by building up this small fleet of Void Rays, and now we're going to go and explore around in order to claim the other bonus objective, so that we can, finish this mission. Because all we're doing this part is showing off how amazing the Void Rays are. They're relatively bulky, they're not all that fast, but, they kill everything, so they don't need to be fast.
The fog gathers, Artanis. Make your preparations if you're so inclined.
We don't need to be so inclined, Mr. Alak, because we have Void Rays now. Also, with the ability to just say fuck you to a majority of air units.
Let's take a little off the top, shall we?
Thank you, Hierarch. I shudder to think of what they were planning to do with it.
There we go.
It shall be done.
No, do not make Corsairs. Continue to make Void Rays. Yes, as past dimensions, I do end up spending a lot of my time depending on the Spirit of Aduna abilities. Mostly the Warp and Reinforcements one. Although the other ones that we get, access to are also pretty awesome. One of the ones that I really like, we'll only get to see like twice throughout the entire game, which is sad, but it's because it takes forever for us to actually unlock the damn thing.
You require my skills.
I'd say the worst alternative would be to not use the abilities and lock yourself into, maybe an exploitable strategy, like a diversified stock portfolio.
Oh, they killed my stalker because I didn't blink him out in time. Oh well.
See, if you invest everything in stalkers, what happens when the stock market crashes?
Very little, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm relatively certain that the Protoss don't actually have any form of currency to speak of.
Well, why does money exist?
Money exists on the Terran side because capitalism is impossible for humans to escape, but it straight up doesn't actually exist on the other side, for the other two factions. Because Protoss are very strictly using the minerals that they're mining as psionic conduits in order to warp down their already generated units, whereas Zerg are using the minerals for effectively the same reason, as psionic conduits in order to expand and mutate their forces.
Right. Well, we're talking about why they're making war in order to survive, because they're fighting each other. So they do have lives at stake. So war being a subshoot of just life itself, that they prize life and the resources needed to sustain it. Now outside of it, in peacetime, do they consume resources?
Yes, because because they still have to attempt to expand they have to attempt to expand and fortify their holdings. So
yes, they do understand the concept of money.
I'm not entirely sure if they do understand the concept of money, though, is the thing.
Okay, well let's put this into StarCraft terms. In StarCraft, there are resources in the environment, and there's your inventory. As resources go from the environment to your inventory, the resources are no longer in the environment. They become depleted because they are finite. And that is the foundation of money, is finite resources. This for that exchanges. Trading.
Are they sure they actually do the exchanging part, though, is the thing? I don't know if they do.
That if they continue to make withdrawals on the account of the environment, the planet, the galaxy, then eventually, if they do it too much, then it's going to return account overdrawn, and they can't draw any more resources out. That's a fact.
I mean, it is most certainly a fact, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure if it's a thing. It's a thing that they are still beholden to.
Well, you can't build your void rays unless you have the crystals and Vespene gas in the first place. Now, am I right?
Actually, no, because if you recall, one of the big things about the original design for the Protoss was the ability to generate psionic psionic hallucinations via the High Templar, and the High Templar were in fact one of the most powerful casts of the original Protoss groups.
Okay, and how do you get High Templars?
Very explicitly, you end up training zealots that have psionic potential.
And what do they cost?
Well, in StarCraft 1, their cost would be 50 minerals and 150 Vespene. But here's the thing: that is a gameplay element. That is not a. Although that is a definite gameplay element, it is not an element of the. It is not an element of the race itself. It is very clearly. It's made relatively clearly throughout StarCraft 1 that the Protoss aren't actually building new units. They're warping in units that they already have.
No, but I mean, I see what you're saying is that they're already there, but then if all these things are already there, like, and you know, and a whole fucking squadron gets wiped out, you know, well, what happens if they all get wiped out?
We warp in more.
I think the non-existence and the non-presence of something are basically the same thing in this situation.
Kind of.
Kind of like, well, we could have fired the guns, but the guns were in another country.
Yeah.
They existed, but they weren't in our hands.
Well, the Protoss classically don't ever have to have that dilemma. Is the thing. Science fiction is weird, guys. That's the point.
Science fiction, of course, makes the first assumption that it is fiction. That, conversely, there is a factual, non-fiction reality that it diverts us from.
Warping mounts down more reinforcements.
All I'm saying is that, like, notwithstanding the curious nature as to how Protoss come to be and how they get involved in these skirmishes, they understand the concept of things being finite and things being
scarcity
operating
of
on
resources is definitely a thing that they understand.
On the scarcity
I'm
of
not
resources,
entirely sure why,
exactly.
though.
Very well put. That if they didn't have crystals, they can't warp in their buddies. They can't warp in their buddies aren't on the battlefield.
Right. Okay, so you'll notice that we're not actually talking all that much about this mission because this is what this mission and a majority of the rest of the campaign boils down to: generate a fleet of void rays, get decent air upgrades, either air armor, weapons, and plasma 1, and push out from that, or generate. Well, effectively, yeah, just do that for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah. Step 1, get resources. Step 2, spend them. Step 3, poop
annihilate
out
your foes.
And then step 4, annihilate everything in your path. With lasers.
Yeah. Sky lasers. I love void rays though.
Wheels in the sky keep on turning. I don't know where I'll be tomorrow.
The lasers in the sky keep on burning all through your unadvanced civilizations.
Will stand against a god?
Yes, I will stand against the god because Because as we learned a couple of parts ago, Aemon is the last of the Xel'Naga.
He is not a god.
To your death, Alarak. The Dark God will destroy you. I have heard enough of his lies.
And
Yeah.
Psionic Wave. And yes,
if I
Alarak could
smell-
have done that at any fucking time. We'll soon see
Well,
later
you're-
that it's a much more powerful version of that he has access to.
Well, they were not part of the ritual.
Fuck you, Alarak.
Others would have aided Malash.
So the Guardian Malash said that Alaric smells like a water buffalo, to which Alaric replied, yeah, well, you look like one.
High Lord, hear me. I invoke the right of Rakshir. Fight me according to our laws, or die a coward.
Or both. That works too.
You rang.
Meet in combat at daybreak. You shall have your challenge.
And so we will. In the next episode, we have to go bitch at Alarak a bit. That is
Pointy chin
one
man.
of the anniversary mastery achievements. I don't know how I got that one. I'm sorry. And unfortunately, my eyesight is too bad to actually read these from where I'm sitting right now. Oh, well. I need glasses, Mr. Cloud.
And you will get glasses.
I am going
Eventually.
to make this clear. The Templar are not a weapon you can wield as you wish.
That's my job,
We are not here
Alarak.
to slay your enemies under false pretenses. Deceive me again, and this alliance of ours comes to an end.
Slaying Malash's guardians fulfilled more than one purpose. Once the High Lord lies dead at my feet, none will challenge my rule.
Which is a good point. You could have told us that first.
These years, my
So this really boils down to the battle between Pointy Chin and Pointy Forehead.
that I'm coming for him.
Malash,
No. Amon.
Also, Alarak is high off his balls on Terrazine right now.
Oh, yes, I feel his rage washing over me. He knows I no longer fear him. He knows that the Tal'Darim have no collar for him to control.
Which is really a downside for them if you come to think about it.
Against him.
do not assume you are already victorious, Alarak. Do not let the Terrazine cloud your judgment. You have a battle to win first.
The battle is already won. In my mind's eye, I have delivered the killing blow in 1,000 ways.
From my experience,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean you've done it yet, now have
your
you?
opponent's greatest ally. Do not let yours aid Malash.
Spoken as one who welcomes defeat.
Retreat, Alarak, not defeat. Eh.
So Alarak is saying that because of the alliance, the 1,000 ways in which he's won the battle, of course, is the 1,000 units brought to him by Artanis. And Carax. Carax gets credit too. He's cool.
Yay, additional shield recharge. And
My scouts are tracking the movements of the Golden Armada.
thank you, Vorazun.
The assault ships are now ready for your inspection.
Alright, so we could use either the Nerazine Void Ray or the Destroyer class Void Ray.
New Tal'Darim
Huh.
robotics have been
Do I
constructed
want to
based on
use
Protoss
the
systems
okay, little dinky toy, or do I want to use the badass freaking soldier killer?
We're gonna use the Destroyer Void Ray, and I will get to show off how amazing it is in a couple of parts. I don't think we actually use it in the next part that much, though.
There is no comparison. Our society was not founded upon
Their culture is one unyielding hierarchy, servant to master, a constant reinforcement of their bondage to Amon.
Yep.
But they have been lied to, Matriarch.
And how could this change if it is all they have ever known?
I don't know. Maybe we could force our culture onto theirs.
Hatred of one another, suspicion.
Yes.
We viewed your practices as barbaric, and you viewed ours as cruel.
That's because yours were, like, very casteist.
Tal'Darim, with the destruction of Amon and the revelation of his betrayal, I expect their entire society to seek out who they truly are.
They're gonna turn into
What
blood
they
hunters,
wish
damn
to
it.
be.
So yeah, Artanis is overly hopeful about this potential change. But as we see in the real world, I'm going to redact the rest of that statement. And now we move on to Rakshir.
Now is the hour of my ascendance. commence!
Yes.
This will not end well for you, Alarak.
Actually, this ends very well for Alarak. Be safe, everyone.